Hello and welcome to a fresh new episode of Science Monitor, our weekly update on all that is happening in the field of science and technology in and around the country. Water on Mars to our first space observatory, AstroSat. We are back once again with exciting scientific stories that transpired during the week. But first, a look at the headlines. Indian eyes now in space. AstroSat successfully launched in orbit. Not arid as it seems to be, evidence of liquid water found on Mars. Cause, cure and prevention, the special story on rabies. Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Awards announced. In our In Focus segment today, we trace the journey of Indian terrestrial telescopes to our recently launched space observatory. And now the news in detail. India will now watch the space from space. Adding yet another feather to its cap, ISRO has successfully launched AstroSat, India's first multi-wavelength space observatory. The space observatory, along with 6 foreign satellites, were carried and placed into orbit by India's PSLV C-30. Now successfully deployed and functional, AstroSat will soon start working on its mission, whose objectives include searching for black holes and new transient X-ray sources in the galaxy, among many others. Let us see this report.
ISRO on 28 September successfully launched India's first multi-wavelength space observatory. AstroSat was launched aboard PSLV C-30 from the first launch pad at the Satish Dhawan Space Center (SHAR), Sriharikota at 10 AM following a 50-hour smooth countdown. According to the reports, AstroSat was successfully placed in orbit about 22 minutes after liftoff and separated from the fourth stage of PSLV C-30. This marked the 31st successful launch by India's Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. The 320-ton, 45-meter tall PSLV C-30 was carrying in all 7 satellites, including the 1,513 kg AstroSat, along with 6 foreign customer satellites, which altogether weighed about 1,631 kgs at liftoff. So far, PSLV has launched 51 satellites for customers from abroad. AstroSat and 6 co-passenger satellites have been launched into a 644.6 by 651.5 kilometer orbit inclined at an angle of 6 degrees to the equator. According to experts, the achieved orbit is very close to the intended one. Reports have also confirmed that the 2 solar arrays of AstroSat have been automatically deployed following its separation from PSLV C-30, and the Spacecraft Control Center of ISRO Telemetry, Tracking and Command Network at Bangalore has taken control of AstroSat.
Today we can say we are better placed after Chandrayaan and Mars mission. There is generally also more interest in space astronomy and space exploration activities, and this AstroSat has come at the right time because it is giving a unique opportunity with a set of data which others do not have of this category in the near future.
Developed in collaboration with various R&D institutions across the country, AstroSat carries 5 scientific payloads designed to observe the universe in the visible, ultraviolet, low and high energy X-ray regions of the electromagnetic spectrum simultaneously. The images captured by AstroSat are expected to further our understanding of the universe.
Does life exist on Mars? A mystery that excites experts and common men alike. Now bringing a new twist to the story and taking us 1 inch closer to the answer, NASA has found evidence of liquid water on Mars. Astonishing evidence suggests that salty water flows in liquid form on the surface of Mars during summer months.
Earth, for hundreds of years, was thought to be the only celestial body to contain water. Now, in a breakthrough discovery in the history of space science, evidence of liquid water has been found on the red planet Mars. The startling revelation comes from the new spectral data gathered by NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter spacecraft. After analyzing the chemistry of dark streaks that have been known to appear and disappear seasonally on the Martian surface.
We're revolutionizing our understanding of this planet. Our rovers are finding that there's a lot more humidity in the air than we ever imagined. As we ingest the soils, they're moist, they're hydrated, full of water. These discoveries are very important, but they were only part of the hydrological cycle on Mars that we're just now beginning to understand. Under certain circumstances, liquid water has been found on Mars.
Analysis of the images and data has indicated that these streaks are formed by liquid salty water flowing through the canyons and crater walls of Mars over the summer months. While these streaks are observed to grow thicker and longer during the summer months of Mars, the streaks are seen to fade and shrink during the autumn and winter. According to the researchers, the spectral data confirms the presence of hydrated salts, a mix of chlorates and perchlorates in the dark streak. While the exact sources of water on Mars remains a mystery, scientists propose different possible sources. The water, as they propose, may be being pulled down by the perchlorates from the Martian atmosphere when the air grows humid, or may be coming from a subsurface ice reservoir that turns into liquid when it comes in contact with the salts. This is the first direct evidence of liquid water on the surface of Mars, and is an implication of possibility of microbial life forms on Mars. The study has been published in Nature Geosciences.
Now, named after the founder-director of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize for Science and Technology is aptly called the Indian Nobel Prize. Now, the names of 11 researchers have been declared as the winners for their outstanding contributions to research in science and technology.
September marks a historical landmark in Indian science. For it is on this day that the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, India's premier chain of R&D laboratories, celebrates its foundation day. The day is also much awaited by the researchers as the prestigious Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award, considered to be a coveted science honor in the country, is announced on this day. Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award, named after the founder-director of the CSIR, late Sir Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar, recognizes each year outstanding contributions to science and technology. This year, the CSIR announced 11 awards in 7 different scientific fields. While in the biological science category, Dr. Balasubramaniam Gopal of the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and Dr. Rajiv Kumar Varshne of International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics were chosen for the award. Dr. Jyoti Ranjan Srichandan Ray from the Physical Science Laboratory, Ahmedabad, was chosen from the field of Earth, Atmosphere, Ocean and Planetary Sciences. This year's SSB Prize in Engineering Sciences was awarded to Dr. Yogesh Joshi from IIT Kanpur and Dr. Ritabrata Munshi from the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai, and Dr. K. Sandeep from TIFR Centre for Applicable Mathematics, Bangalore, bagged the award for their contributions to the field of mathematical sciences. While Dr. Vidita Ved from the TIFR Mumbai bagged the award in the medical science category, in the physical sciences category, Dr. Bedanga Das Mohanty from the National Institute of Science Education and Research, Bhubaneswar, and Dr. Mandar Deshmukh from the TIFR Mumbai were selected for the award. The award in the category of Chemical Sciences is to be awarded to Dr. D. Srinivasa Reddy from CSIR's National Chemical Laboratory, Pune, and Dr. Pradyut Ghosh from the Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science, Jadavpur.
Violent behavior, fear of water, urge to bite and death. Rabies looks like an infection straight out of zombie movies. But unlike fictitious viruses, rabies is real and a threat in many countries with unbridled dog and bat populations. Now, with the aim of spreading awareness regarding rabies, 28th of September every year is observed as World Rabies Day. So what transpired during this year's World Rabies Day? Let us see this special story.
Rabies, or the mad dog disease, whose first record dates back to 2300 BC, is perhaps the oldest viral infection known to mankind. Caused by a group of virus called the Lyssa virus and spread by infected animals like dogs, monkeys, cats, foxes, bats and cows. Centuries later, rabies still continues to be a threat in many countries. According to estimates, about 60,000 people are killed every year by rabies. While rabies was much dreaded as the victims were sure to die, a twist came when French chemist Louis Pasteur and his assistant Emily Roux developed the first effective vaccine for rabies in 1883 from the spinal cord of an infected animal. Commemorating this greatest contribution of Pasteur and with the aim of spreading awareness regarding rabies, 28 September, the death anniversary of Louis Pasteur is observed as World Rabies Day annually since 2007. The international campaign with the tagline "End Rabies Together", coordinated by the Global Alliance for Rabies Control. While rabies is 100% preventable, once symptoms develop following an animal bite, rabies is virtually incurable. Hence, experts suggest seeking immediate medical help and anti-rabies vaccination in case of being bitten by a rabid animal.
Treatment includes, the first step is that wherever the bite is, that area has to be washed properly, at least for 10 to 15 minutes. One can use betadine, one can use soap solution. So proper washing is a must. And then after that, post-exposure anti-rabies vaccination protocol that has to be followed, which includes the first shot being given the very first day, then on day 3, then on day 7, then on day 14, 28 and 90.
The virus causes inflammation of the brain. The symptoms of rabies may start with fever and tingling at the site of exposure, followed by violent movements, uncontrolled excitement, fear of water known as hydrophobia, paralysis, paranoia, and delirium ending in death. A few simple steps can go a long way in preventing this dreaded infection, like keeping pets under strict supervision and vaccinating them against rabies. In case of an animal bite, wash the wound with soap and water for 10 to 15 minutes and immediately seek medical help. Rabies vaccine offers 100% prevention of rabies before the symptoms develops. Avoid handling wild animals or strays as they may carry the virus without showing symptoms. Contact the municipality if the animal is drooling and shows violent behavior.
And now it is time to take a short break, but we'll be right back. Keep watching Science Monitor. Welcome back. After the break, you're watching Science Monitor. Let us now have a look at some important science and technology activities happening in India and abroad in our next segment, Science Express.
It was indeed a special day for researchers at ISRO who celebrated the first anniversary of Mars Orbiter mission by watching the special screening of a Hollywood science fiction movie, The Martian. The movie was screened on 24th September as Mangalyaan successfully completed 1 year in its orbit. The film, directed by Hollywood director Sir Ridley Scott, was screened specially at the IMAX cinemas in Ahmedabad city and was attended by around 500 members of ISRO, including scientists along with their families. The film portrays the struggle of a NASA scientist on a Mars mission who gets left behind on the planet after the rest of the crew members believe him to be dead. In a radical new step towards ensuring greener environment, Indian government on 29 September launched its Green Highways policy. The policy now makes it mandatory for road developers to set aside 1% of the total project cost for plantation to reduce air pollution and beautification. Under the policy, the government expects to collect nearly Rs 1,000 crore every year and aims to recruit institutions and NGOs for the plantation, transplantation, beautification and maintenance work. The policy is also aimed at employment generation along with greening of highway corridors with community participation. In a rare archaeological find, scientists have dug out human remains which they believe belongs to Lisa Gherardini, the model for Leonardo da Vinci's famous painting Mona Lisa. The remains have been found by a team of researchers from Italy's National Committee for the Promotion of Historic and Cultural Heritage, led by Silvano Vincetti from the Saint Orsola Convent, though the limits of current technology makes it impossible to ascertain that the discovered remains are that of the Mona Lisa. Carbon dating and historical records of the convent suggest that the remains belongs to Lisa Gherardini, who lived in the 16th century during the time Mona Lisa was painted. Scientists now plan to extract, analyze and compare the DNA to genetically ascertain that the remains belongs to Lisa Gherardini.
From Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan and Regional Navigation System to the Space Observatory AstroSat, India is today a world champion in space science. From what began as a humble search for the stars from the Madras Observatory during the British era, Indian Observatory today houses world's largest optical infrared telescope and has successfully launched a space observatory. From terrestrial to space telescopes, it has been an incredible journey of scientific pursuit, perseverance and excellence. Well, we'll try to trace this historical journey of Indian terrestrial telescopes to space observatory in our next segment, In Focus.
Little did Galileo know, way back in 1609, when he looked at the sky for the first time through his crude invention using a simple combination of two lenses, that it will revolutionize the field of astronomy. Over 400 years later, as today humans have managed to reach the farthest planet Pluto and have managed to dig out evidence of water on the red planet Mars, the role telescopes play in understanding the universe remains unquestionable. India, like the leading spacefaring nations of the world, has a rich scientific history of telescope engineering. The history of Astronomical Observatory in the country dates back to 1786, when the Madras Observatory was founded by the British East India Company in Chennai. For over a century, the Madras Observatory remained the only astronomical observatory in India that exclusively worked on the stars, later extending its scope of work to meteorological studies. The observatory acquired its first 6-inch equatorial telescope in 1850. In 1893 came the famine in Madras Presidency, and the need for undertaking studies of the sun to better understand monsoon patterns was felt at large. Following the recommendations of prominent researchers of the time, equipments were transferred from Madras Observatory to southern tip of the Palni Hills, 4 kilometers from Kodaikanal in Tamil Nadu. The observatory, named as the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory, founded on April 1, 1899, houses the solar tunnel telescope called the Grubb-Parsons telescope. The 60-centimeter diameter, two-mirror fused quartz telescope mounted on 11-meter tower platform directs sunlight via a flat mirror into a 60-meter long underground horizontal tunnel. This solar tunnel telescope has contributed to the discovery of the ever-shed effect of sun in 1909. In the year 1977, many of the astronomers from Kodaikanal shifted to Bangalore and established the Indian Institute of Astrophysics. Following the years after independence, it was realized that Kodaikanal had very few nights available for observation. As a result, an observatory was set up in a hamlet corner, Kavalur, in the Javadu Hills in Tamil Nadu by M.K. Vainu Bapu, who was the director of the Kodaikanal Observatory. The observatory today, known as the Vainu Bapu Observatory, started functioning in 1968 with a 38-centimeter telescope. Operated by the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, the Vainu Bapu Observatory houses one of Asia's largest space observation telescopes, called the Vainu Bapu Telescope, which has a diameter of 2.3 meters. The telescope is so powerful that it can easily resolve a 25 paise coin kept 40 kilometers away. The telescope, which was first used in 1986, contributed to the discovery of atmosphere in Ganymede, one of Jupiter's satellites, and rings of Uranus. The observatory also has a 45-centimeter Schmidt telescope, which discovered the minor planet named 4130 Ramanujan in 1988. The Indian Astronomical Observatory was set up in Hanle near Ladakh on 29 August 2001. The observatory, located at an elevation of 4,500 meters, is one of the world's highest sites for optical, infrared and gamma-ray telescopes, and currently houses the world's largest optical infrared telescope, the Himalayan Chandra telescope. The Himalayan Chandra telescope is a 2.01 meters diameter optical infrared telescope named after India-born Nobel laureate Subramaniam Chandrasekhar. What is most interesting is that the operations of Himalayan Chandra telescope are controlled using a remote satellite link by the Center for Research and Education in Science and Technology in Bangalore. The observatory also houses the High-Altitude Gamma-Ray Telescope, an atmospheric Serenkov experiment with 7 telescopes set up. Each telescope has 7 mirrors with a total area of 4.4 square meters. Similarly, the Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics is conducting studies using a 2-meter diameter telescope situated in a hill in Giravali village, 80 kilometers from the city of Pune. Besides this, the solar observatory located at Udaipur, using its multi-application solar telescope, specializes in high-resolution solar chromospheric, magnetic field, velocity and spectral observations. The Aryabhatta Research Institute of Observational Sciences in Nainital is currently working on the development of the large 3.6-meter optical telescope to be located at Devsthal. Today, India has progressed from the terrestrial telescopes to the much-acclaimed space observatory AstroSat. While other observatories are located on Earth and make use of optical telescopes, AstroSats will be India's first space-based observatory in orbit and will function as huge floating telescope in space, observing astronomical bodies. AstroSat was successfully launched aboard PSLV-C-30 from the Satish Dhawan Space Center on 28 September. With AstroSat now in orbit and all the terrestrial telescopes fully functional, Indian researchers in the coming years are equipped to make breakthrough discoveries that will further our understanding of the universe and the cosmic bodies.
Well, that is all for this episode of Science Monitor. Do tell us how do you like our program. You can send your feedback and suggestions. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write into us at Vigyan Prasar C24 Kutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. Well, we'll be back with fresh news stories on science and technology again next week. Till then, stay tuned to Rajya Sabha TV and think scientific. Bye-bye.